Hi, you guys. Thanks for watching. It's my pleasure to be able to share this exciting information about cards and geomancy with you. We're going to be using the regular 52 card playing deck today in calculating geomantic figures. Now, playing cards are a completely underrated, untapped into amazing calculator for geomancy and for a lot of other things. If you think about the playing card deck as composed of the same things that our modern day computers are created with, ones and zeros, binary components. Now, binary, the word, just means something that is composed of two equal yet opposite parts, right? Like odd and even. Every card is either odd or even. And then we have the red and black feature. Every card is either red or black. Again, an opposite yet equal representation in the playing cards. So this is a calculator. Every time I lay a spread out, it's like getting a computer program of ones and zeros by number and by color. And what are we calculating? What are we calculating? Well, it depends on what you program into the computer. What's the question that you're asking? But one thing that we can translate this code into is divinatory geomancy. Geomancy is an ancient science, right? And so is cartomancy. Very old. But pairing them together is a new thing and very exciting and very, they just mesh together like hand in glove. So in the first video that I created for you guys here on YouTube, we talk about using the playing cards to create geomantic figures. And we talked about some of the ways to do that and create a geomantic figure by number. And I'm just going to write my card signatures down real quick here on my paper. I really like using paper with my cards to create a record of the reading and to create something beautiful for my client. You know, I'll use colored markers or whatever. But basically I have my little card signatures written down here. I have the 3 of diamonds, the 7 of clubs, the jack of diamonds, and the 5 of clubs. Now this is a really interesting playing card deck for geomancy. Why? Because you have the suit signs. Oops, I wrote on my card. You have the suit signs. Whoops. You have the suit signs visible on the card, right? And it reminds me of casting stones in an ancient geomantic ceremony where you could see the numbers on the sand or the earth where the lots would be cast. And I can imagine that I'm in ceremony with these scatterings of suit signs on my table. So I love that for geomancy. And sometimes I can see little geomantic figures in here via the suit signs here, you know. So this is in the style of historical playing card decks, and this is the deck created by my father, the Playing Card Oracle's original edition. Just a side note. So let's create our first geomantic figure using this card layout. And I'm just going to put an odd marking or singular marking for each odd numbered card here. That's my little shorthand notation for an odd numbered card. Now, Jack, what is that? That's odd because it's a male card. It's an odd number in the sequence of cards. It comes after the 10 in the sequence. It flips back to an odd number, 11, and Jack is an odd numbered card, and so is 5. So I have this figure for my very first geomantic figure with this spread, right? And I want to lay the cards out in this kind of tower formation. It just makes it super easy to calculate the geomancy, right? Because that's the way a geomantic figure is created, with 4 sections like that. Okay, now color, right? Color, geomancy, by virtue of the black and the red in the deck. Now, black and red, it's like the deck is a moving yin-yang symbol. It's so profound, and it's so untapped into in modern day card reading practice. So let's start working with this and tapping into this massive potential. Now, the question is whether red or black is odd or even, right? Numbers are a no-brainer. Numbers are intrinsically odd or even. But colors leave room for question, and opinions differ. So it's interesting because the red suits, right, hearts and diamonds, both have odd and even numbered cards within them. Both have male and female cards within them. And so do the black suits. So what do we do? How do we proceed? In my opinion, after working with playing cards and geomancy for a number of decades now, my opinion is that color needs to be free to shapeshift. And this gives its power. And think about this for a second. If numbers are fixed, right? Numbers are not free to change. Even is always even. Odd is always odd. It's very straightforward. Then maybe counter to that, it's important that color be free to change, right? There's this theory in playing cards and in the universe, in the way that playing cards mimic the universe, called chance and rules of the game, right? Chance is like that chaotic aspect, that unpredictable quality we have in life, right? Rules of the game are the things we know and can depend on, like the law of gravity, right? Like all the laws of physics that chaos plays with and moves in and out of. And this is what we have in card games, in fortune telling and in games. You have the shuffling of cards. This is chance. This is the randomization, right? It's a critical thing that you do in cards. You have to put that element of chance in there. But then you have the rules of the game. How many cards do you lay out? What formation do you lay them out in? What do the positions mean? Rules have to interface with chance. This is like a universal secret. And in our geomancy, we're going to also use this same thing. So numbers are the rules of the game, the fixed quality. Color is that wild card aspect, and we're going to allow it to be chameleon-like. This creates the magic. So here's how I assign odd and even to red and black. I look to my top card of my little 4-card layout. In this instance is red. You want to ask yourself, what is the color of my top card? In this instance, it's red. Now, I want to know the total value of red for this layout, right? How is red coming forward in this particular layout? Well, in this layout, I have 2 red cards, and they're both odd, right? They're both odd. And odd plus odd equals even, just like 1 plus 1 equals 2. So red for this reading is even, right? And black by default becomes odd. And that's only for this layout. And I have a quisitio. It's my second geomantic figure, my second witness, right? Okay, we're going to do this again. We're going to practice this, and you'll see how it can become like second nature. And I'm going to show you how we use these two together as well. But we'll do another example first. Shuffle, 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 right? Always want that chance element. It's so important. And we lay 4 cards out, the lovers, the enemies, the throne of spiders, and the sword of healing. Okay, let's quick jot our card signatures down. 2 of hearts, my little shorthand. 2 of spades. Can you guys see all this? Okay, 9 of spades. And 7 of hearts. Okay, let's quick calculate our geomancy by number. This should be very simple. And again, if you haven't seen the first video on geomancy, I recommend watching that. Okay, we have Fortuna Major. That's our witness by color, by number, right? First witness is always by number. And I move always from right to left across my paper. That's very important, and we'll get to that in a minute. I'll explain more about that in just a minute. Okay, now what's our geomancy by color? Again, I look to the top card, and this instance, my top card happens to be red. I look for any other red cards in my layout because I want to know the total presentation of red for this particular spread. I've got an even card and an odd card, right? What's even plus odd? It's like asking what's 2 plus 1? It's 3. It's odd. Red is now odd for this reading. It's the opposite of what we had last time, remember? Now black becomes even by default. Every black card is now even, and my red cards are all odd, and then I have Carcer, my second figure. Geomancy by color. Isn't that cool? We'll do an exercise in a minute here. I'm going to get you guys so that adding the value of your color cards together feels like easy schmeezy. I'm going to show you an exercise that is going to get you past any sort of blockage or resistance that you have toward getting that color witness. But first, let's finish this reading and let's calculate our third and final geomantic figure, because two witnesses, and that's what these are called in geomantic tradition. This is a witness, this is a witness. Two witnesses need a judge. Two figures create a third. I want to make sure you guys can see this. Okay, so how do we do that? We just add the two witnesses together. We add each of the lines together. So even plus odd is odd. Even plus even is even. Odd plus even is odd. And odd plus odd is even. This is a missio. That's our judge, right? There you have it. So three figures, three geomantic figures create a very strong reading. And together with your card correspondences, you have a smorgasbord of information on the table. But much stronger than just one geomantic figure, which only really gives you one aspect of what's going on. You have a whole another aspect through color, and then once you have the two witnesses, the judge is just, you know, a very natural consequence. Okay, let's do the exercise that I mentioned. This is going to be really fun. You guys are going to love this, and it's a good one to do at home. Okay, randomizing, always randomizing a little first, right? And then I'm just going to overwhelm you. I'm going to lay a whole bunch of cards out here. Da-da, da-da, da-da. And we're going to find the total value of everything on the table. Okay? First of all, I'm going to make a quick odd or even marking for every card here. So I'm just going to fly through this. Jack is odd. 5 is odd. 8 is even. Ace is odd. 8 is even. 3 is odd. 10 is even. 6 is even. King is odd. Can you see all that? Great. Now, what a mess. How will we ever figure out the total value of everything we have on the table? It's easy. It's easy. I'm going to circle all my pairs. Okay, I'm going to circle all my pairs, and then I'm going to make pairs with everything on this paper, and I've got one little leftover guy. One little leftover guy. This is odd. The total value of everything I have turned over here is odd. Okay? And you can do that in your mind really easily with 4 cards. You know? You can kind of circle them together in your mind. Odd plus odd. These two are odd at the top. I could circle those. This is even. He's a circle in himself. And then I got an odd guy left at the bottom. It's odd. You don't need paper after a while. You know? Okay. Want to do that again? Just because it's so fun? Let's do it again. Let's do it. Okay. Let's lay them in a tower like so, but we'll just lay way too many out so that 4 cards just feels like a piece of cake. You see, I wrote on my card. I'm bad. Okay, so let's do the same thing again. I know these cards well enough. I don't have to see the whole card to know what number it is, but you know, I'm very used to this deck, but I guess that would be an advantage to having a little card index here. You know, you wouldn't have to see the whole card or get familiar with the cards to know what you're looking at, as opposed to having your suit signs, you know, spread across the card. Okay, 5 of hearts, oops, is odd. Jack is odd. Ace is odd. Jack again is odd. Lady or 10 is even. 3, 4, and 6. That's what I have on the table right now. Okay, trust me. And then I'm going to circle all my pairs, circling pairs. Now I got a bunch of odd markings left. I'm going to pair them up. Pair them up, pair them up. I got one left again. This is odd. If they had all paired up, it would be even. And I could take just the red cards, just the cards that match my top card, if I was doing my witness by color. You know, I wouldn't have to do all the cards. Yeah, simple enough. With a little practice, you could get pretty good at that. Okay, let's do one last reading. I got one more piece of paper here. Let's do a 4-card reading and see how it goes. Okay, I'm going to write the signature down. Queen of clubs, 2 of clubs. It's my little shorthand. Ace of spades. Ace of spades and 7 of clubs. Sorry, that's messy, guys. I should slow down a little. So I'm doing first my geomancy by number. Queen is even. Female cards are even in the playing cards. You know, Queen is the 12th card in the sequence in playing cards. She's just above the Jack, which is an 11. She's even. 2, Ace is like the number 1, 7. Okay, this is Fortuna minor, major. And you know, there's only 16 geomantic figures. If you haven't really gotten into geomancy yet, it's really fun, and it doesn't take that long to memorize the 16 figures. Their meanings are pretty straightforward. You know, this is the major benefactor, the major fortune. It's fortune that you're creating from within yourself, and it's being reflected out in your life. There's nothing you can't conquer with Fortuna Major. It's ruled by the sun, you know. So when I'm reading my cards, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to build that into my reading. I'm not going to contradict that with my interpretation of the cards. And we'll do another video, guys, where we do an actual reading. We'll interpret the cards with the geomancy. So don't worry about that. We'll work on that. Just takes a little practice to start building them together into a comprehensive reading. And then we want our second witness by number. And oh yeah, I was going to share with you guys something. Almost forgot. Why it's so important to move from right to left. Okay, but let's figure our color witness, and then we'll talk about that. Okay, so we've got to add all these cards together, you guys, because they're all black. Our top card is black, and then we got 3 more cards. Everything's black. This is so easy. In my mind, I'm circling the pairs. It's even, right? Everything evens up. There's nobody left over. Everybody has a partner in this little square dance. So our figure is going to look like so. I keep making sure I don't move my paper out of the camera view. And this little guy is called Populus. Okay? Populus has a whole set of meanings itself. It's like a reflection. It's group mind. It's everybody in agreement, right? Everybody's agreeing. It's like this figure is looking in the mirror of this figure. And whenever you add Populus to another figure, it just becomes the figure itself, like a mirror reflection. So let's figure out our judge. 2 witnesses equal a judge. 2 witnesses need a judge, like in any good court of law. And of course, we have Fortuna Major as our judge, which is really the verdict, right? But let's talk about these 2 positions. I've got my number witness on the right, my color witness on the left. Think about this. My number witness is on the right-hand side of my page, where my right hand is, corresponds to my left brain. It's the rational part of myself. It's the part of myself that loves law and order, right? And it's perfect. It corresponds to this mathematical geomantic figure, the one that makes total sense, right? Corresponds to my right hand. Now, the color witness speaks to a completely different part of myself, and it's on the left-hand side. Corresponds to my right brain, my intuitive self, my non-logical self, my receptive self, the self that loves to confound the rational part of myself. It's that part of our layout that corresponds to chance and randomness, what seems random, right, to the rational mind. And it's so important to have those on those corresponding sides of the page. And this all works with geomantic tradition, which always moves right to left. This is the history of geomancy. So make sure you're moving right to left. It's counter to our Western way of moving across paper, and it's so important in working with geomancy. Okay? So, awesome, you guys. I think that wraps up our lesson for today. I hope you had as much fun as I did with this video. Every throw of the cards is an act of creation. And, let's tap into this amazing potential of playing cards that has been so overlooked. And let's start making geomancy. Thanks a lot, you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.